At its peak, Sears controlled 1% of the entire United States economy. 2 out of 3 Americans shopped there every single quarter. The company pulled in $53 billion a year, operated over 3,500 stores, and employed more than 300,000 people. They built the tallest building in the world, launched Allstate Insurance, created the Discover card, and put Craftsman tools in every garage in America. Sears wasn't a store, it was the store. And today, 5 locations remain. Across hundreds of American cities, former Sears buildings sit abandoned, with crumbling facades and empty parking lots accelerating the dead mall crisis nationwide. Here's the thing, the popular narrative says Amazon killed Sears. That's wrong. One hedge fund manager dismantled it from the inside, piece by piece. These are the 5 fatal decisions that destroyed America's biggest retailer. Fatal decision. Number 1, the Kmart merger. That was really an asset play. Most people thought billionaire investor Eddie Lampert was a retail genius when he merged Sears and Kmart in 2005. Wall Street cheered. The idea was that combining 2 iconic American brands would create unstoppable synergies and a retail powerhouse. But here's the financial reality. Lampert wasn't a retailer. He was a hedge fund manager running ESL investments, and he treated these companies like portfolio assets, not operating businesses. The combined company's profits peaked at $1.5 billion in 2006, and then they never came back. There was no meaningful integration, no unified brand strategy, no real plan to compete with Walmart on price or specialty stores on quality. What the board didn't tell you is that Lampert's real interest was the balance sheet, the real estate, and the brand portfolio sitting underneath those aging store signs. Within a decade, combined revenue dropped by over $11 billion. And the stock price collapsed from above $120 to under $10. And if that opening move shocked you, wait until you see what Lampert did to the stores themselves. Fatal decision number 2, starving the stores to feed the balance sheet. You've probably heard that Sears was transforming itself. Every earnings call and every press release, every shareholder letter talked about the company's bold transformation. But walk into any Sears location after 2010 and you'd see the truth. The truth is, Sears was spending 91 cents per square foot on store upgrades and improvements. For comparison, JCPenney spent $4.13, Kohl's paid $8.12, and Best Buy invested $15.36 per square foot. Sears wasn't transforming, it was decomposing. Broken escalators, empty display cases, skeleton crew staffing, lights flickering in half-dark aisles. Customers who walked in walked right back out. Revenue dropped 53.8% in the 5 years before bankruptcy. Same store sales declined every single quarter for years on end. And let's be real, this wasn't because of Amazon or the so-called retail apocalypse. This was a deliberate decision to stop investing in the physical experience while extracting every dollar possible from the top line. If you're finding this financial breakdown valuable, hit that like button to help other viewers understand these corporate truths. But if starving the stores sounds bad, the next fatal decision is where the real looting began. Fatal decision number 3, selling the crown jewels. The corporate report said asset sales would fund Sears' transformation into a modern retailer. That was the official story. Here's what actually happened. In 2014, Sears spun off Lands' End, one of its most profitable brands, into a separate company. In 2015, Lampert carved out 240 of Sears' best store locations and packaged them into Seritage Growth Properties, a real estate investment trust. In 2017, Craftsman, the tool brand that generations of Americans trusted, was sold to Stanley Black & Decker for $900 million. Think about that. Craftsman, Lands' End, 240 prime real estate locations, all gone. Allstate and the Discover card had already been divested years earlier. Every competitive advantage Sears ever had was systematically removed. Here's the kicker. Unsecured creditors later filed a lawsuit alleging that Lampert and ESL extracted over $2 billion through these sales and spin-offs, calling it a multi-year scheme to siphon assets while leaving the retail operation with nothing to fight with. And if selling the crown jewels is bad, wait until you hear about Lampert's pet project that bled the company dry from the other direction. Fatal decision. Number 4, the shop your way disaster. Most people assumed Sears had some kind of digital strategy to compete with Amazon. And technically, they did. It was called Shop Your Way, a loyalty program that Lampert personally championed for 5 years as the centerpiece of the company's future. But here's the financial reality. Shop Your Way signed up millions of members on paper, but most of them barely bought anything. 3/4 of Sears' revenue came from registered members, yet the average member shopped infrequently and spent very little. In 2016, Lampert himself admitted to shareholders that the program had fallen short on customer engagement. The stock dropped over 5% that day, hitting its lowest price since the 2005 merger. A McKinsey study found that loyalty programs often destroy value for their owners, and Sears proved it. The program gave discounts and points to people who were already shopping there, eroding margins on sales that were already in freefall. Meanwhile, the company/advertising spending by 29%, making it even harder to attract new customers. Bottom line, Sears spent years and hundreds of millions building a digital platform nobody wanted, while the actual stores rotted from the inside. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more critical financial insights. Now, here's the final decision, the one that reveals what this whole operation was really about. Fatal decision number 5. The bankruptcy that wasn't really a rescue. On October 15, 2018, Sears Holdings filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy with 687 stores still open and $11.3 billion in debt against only $6.9 billion in assets. Most people assumed this was the end, but here's where it gets interesting. Eddie Lampert, the man who had been CEO, chairman, and largest shareholder, was also the company's biggest creditor through ESL Investments. So when it came time to buy Sears out of bankruptcy, Lampert's hedge fund submitted the winning bid of $5.2 billion for over 400 stores, creating a new entity called Transform Holdco. The dirty secret is that the man who ran the company into the ground bought it back at a massive discount, using debt he held as leverage. He ended up controlling whatever remained of Sears real estate and brand assets, while unsecured creditors, pension holders, and former employees were left fighting over scraps. And the stores themselves, from 687 at bankruptcy to 5 remaining today. Across America, hundreds of former Sears anchor stores sit empty, dragging down the shopping malls they once held together. Former Sears executive Mark Cohen, now at Columbia Business School, summed it up. Sears has been on a death spiral for over a decade, and it lost sight of the fact that change is a constant. Let's be absolutely clear about what happened here. Sears didn't die because of Amazon. It didn't die because of the retail apocalypse. Sears was dismantled piece by piece by the man who was supposed to save it. The lesson for every investor and every consumer is this: when a company's CEO is also its largest creditor and hedge fund manager, the incentives are not aligned with saving the business. They're aligned with extracting maximum value before the lights go out. Watch the leadership, not the headlines. 3,500 stores down to 5. 300,000 jobs gone. Hundreds of buildings rotting across American cities. That's the real cost of financial engineering disguised as corporate strategy. Hit like if you found this breakdown useful and subscribe to the channel now. I'll continue to guide you through the real facts of corporate finance, saving you from costly mistakes.